Asia's tech titans on BBC World News.
Young, driven and already running multi-billion-dollar businesses, the new generation of Asia's entrepreneurs not only want to dominate their home markets, but to challenge the status quo. Now on BBC World News, in the first of 3 programmes, Asia business correspondent Karishma Vaswani talks to 3 dynamic tech titans.
One of the biggest changes I've seen on the streets of Southeast Asia over the last few years has been the appearance of these cars. Private hire cars that you can hail for a ride instead of a taxi. With the birth of this new industry has come the rise of the next generation of Asia's tech titans. Today, we're going to speak to one of them. Anthony Tan, the boss of Grab, Southeast Asia's most valuable tech startup, and the company that drove Uber off of these streets. So, let's go! Meet Anthony Tan, the founder of Southeast Asian ride-hailing app Grab.
Guys, I'm really humbled to be here.
He's getting used to being in the spotlight and has taken Grab from a tiny startup to a $6 billion pan-Asian business in just a few years.
We started really as a taxi app. From there, we grew to become the largest ride-hailing platform in Southeast Asia. We were an app that just hailed a taxi. Today, we commute. We provide food, you can pay, you provide your e-commerce deliveries, all in one app.
And with his latest victory, Anthony is also now the owner of his former rival Uber's operations in Southeast Asia. This is the first time that we're speaking since the deal with Uber.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel?
It feels good. Very excited.
Now, you have bought out your biggest competitor on the streets of Southeast Asia. What are some of the next steps?
We believe the deal logic completely makes sense. A lot of my startup friends said, dude, you showed to so many Southeast Asians what is possible. And I think being that testament that for the whole startup ecosystem, right, one, we can actually create lots of value, economic value, but also win and show to the world that Southeast Asian companies can emerge winners.
Was it always part of the plan to take over Uber?
Well, I think a lot of people used to tease me to say, hey, Anthony, when are you going to sell? Right? And in my head, I just knew, I said, no, we're not sellers, we're buyers. And, we proved that dreams can come true.
Grab's victory over Uber means it's become the dominant ride-hailing player in Southeast Asia. But it's facing competition ahead, especially in Indonesia. Homegrown startup Gojek, which is competing with Grab in the motorbike taxi space, is a major rival on these streets. You can see why motorbikes make up such a big part of Grab's business in Indonesia. They're the fastest way to get around in this insane traffic. But competition for drivers is getting really intense. Indonesia alone is a massive market for Grab. It makes up 40% of the Southeast Asian business. With a young and growing middle class and no real public transport, there's a lot of opportunity. But Gojek is looking to take the fight to other markets. How worried are you about competition in the region, especially as companies like Gojek start to expand from their own home markets and go overseas?
Well, I think it's a good thing. I think we have competitors in transport, we have competitors in payments, we have competitors in food. But I think we're very blessed because we have close to 3 million drivers. So that in itself creates an ecosystem. Now that ecosystem we can leverage upon for food. We can leverage it for payments because now we have the 2 largest use case, which is transportation and food. We can leverage it for financial services. We can provide our drivers, hey, they want to buy a second bike. They want to upgrade to a car. We can lend them money for it to expand their business.
It all comes down to numbers. More drivers means more customers, and that means more services you can push out. But these drivers are in high demand. Grab is on a major recruitment drive here, and every day hundreds of applicants show up for written and practical tests and a shot at a new job. At the driver's center, I meet Supriyadi. He tells me that he needs this job to help look after his family, but that he only heard about ride-hailing from a neighborhood friend who was already working for Gojek.
You're spending a lot more time in Indonesia. Is it the one market that you have to win to ensure Grab is successful in Southeast Asia?
Indonesia is in the developing world, developing stage. For example, in Indonesia, when you develop a solution there, that solution can apply to other developing countries like Vietnam, like Philippines. And that's why I spend a lot of time there. How do we make sure that we understand those problems and create those solutions really well, test it out in a big market, and then deploy across the region?
There's a lot Anthony's trying to achieve, and he's trying to do it in a very short space of time. But according to those who know him, he usually gets what he wants. Ji Sun Fu was an early investor in Grab and says Anthony always wanted to be number one.
I think he is highly competitive. I think he is highly paranoid. I think that fear drives him. Fear is not a bad thing. Fear drives your competitiveness. Fear drives your conviction and things you want to win.
You know these entrepreneurs quite well.
Yes.
What do you see as sort of similar trait that they share that's made them these successful, driven people?
These entrepreneurs are visionaries. They have a passion for what they see as a future, and they have a drive. Second, they are relentless and in some ways ruthless. Ruthless in the positive sense. Ruthless in how hard they drive themselves, ruthless in how hard they drive their own people. They will work their ass off. And there are sacrifices that they do make, and it is that aggressiveness, that hunger that drives them.
I've spoken to a few people who know you, who've invested in your company, and they've used interesting words to describe you: paranoid and ruthless. Not in a bad way, mind you. Do you see yourself in that description?
No, not at all. I'm paranoid of failing our customers. I'm paranoid of failing our people. Every day, last night I dreamt about, always thinking about how can I serve our people better. I'm paranoid about not being a good enough leader. If there's any one thing I would love that people remembered me for, would be, hey, Anthony was a true, not just the talk of it, but he acted as a true servant leader.
Coming from a business background and a family that has been in business for so long, did that make it easier for you to be an entrepreneur, do you think?
So my parents used to take me to the factory floor when I was a kid, all the way, and seeing them as business entrepreneurs, both my dad and my mom, both running their businesses and individual businesses as well. So it gave me that courage that, hey, if my parents can do it, and I literally grew up in that, why couldn't I, right? There's this sense of, hey, there's a chip off my shoulder that I've seen my, always being called, you are somebody's grandson or somebody's son. But now, I said, hey, if they can do it, why can't I? I've been given and blessed with, the education, the experiences. Why can't I? And my uncle said it very well, actually. He said, your grandfather had no money, no education, no people, nobody wanted to work for him, and yet he could build a great business. What's your excuse? I remember him poking me. That really was real.
So this is where the drivers sign up?
Yeah.
It's clear that the Harvard Business School graduate is out to build a legacy. And for that, Anthony has backing from powerful investors, one of which is SoftBank. After transport, the next big thing he's looking to dominate is digital payments. In Southeast Asia, that tends to be quite a low-tech affair. So Grab is trying to bring offline customers online via these agents, many of whom double up as small street stall vendors.
I help the customer buy goods online through the app. I show them the products, clothes, phone credits, and they pay me the cash, and I make the transaction for them online. 3 days later, they get the goods.
Only 1 in 4 people have a bank account in Southeast Asia. Something like 1 in 10 are using a credit card in the region. So it's clearly a real problem where the masses are not being served. That growth of GrabPay is taking very fast, converting them from a cash customer to a GrabPay customer. And then after they say, hey, now with GrabPay, I can also buy my coffee, I can also order my Grab food, whatever it is. And we see that now moving from just transport across the multiple use cases. We can offer you some working capital loans to help you expand your business. So moving from transport to payments, payments to financial services.
This is around redeeming. This is about real loyalty and rewards.
That is essentially the grand plan. It wants to become the dominant consumer app in Southeast Asia, and it's why Grab is aggressively building up its Grab financial team.
Through agents, we're expecting this market to be valued at about $200 billion in 2025. This isn't a top-down war. This is about being on the ground. These services together under Grab Financial will accelerate financial inclusion in Southeast Asia.
That's all well and good, but even in sophisticated countries like Singapore, not that many people are ready to go cashless. Lunchtime in a popular Singapore hawker centre where merchants accept GrabPay.
Have you heard of GrabPay?
No, I don't have the app. Is that an app?
I tried it for the first time today.
So the idea is it's meant to be pretty simple and efficient and not get in the way of the lunchtime crowd because it can get pretty busy here. So once you've decided what you're going to eat, you find out how much it costs, you load up your GrabPay app, and then you press pay, and you go over to this thing over here, the QR code, where it scans the QR code of the merchant that you're paying at. Then you punch in the amount that it costs, and with a swipe, you've just sent some money over to this merchant. But the problem is, it's still a minority of customers who are using this service.
And on the streets, Grab is facing other challenges too. Take Singapore. Government data seems to indicate the private ride-hailing industry may be contributing to congestion here. Since Uber and Grab landed in Singapore in 2013, the number of private hire cars has grown from 0 to more than 40,000. They also clock at least 50% more mileage than a normal car, which means they're on the streets for much longer, adding to traffic flows.
Do you think ride-hailing in its present stage adds to traffic congestion?
We see, again, 5, 8, 10, 12 people going into one vehicle or one form factor, if you may, and then that vehicle being self-driven 22 hours a day. That will remove probably 50 to 70% of the current vehicles you see on the road. So we are actually very bullish that ride-hailing, electrification, self-driving, all that is on the right path to remove more than half of the current vehicles you see on the road.
Across Southeast Asia?
Across Southeast Asia.
Give me a picture of what Grab might look like in 10 years' time.
I see Grab way beyond transport. The minute you wake up, how it becomes so permeable in your life, where it orders a car or a bike or whatever that form of transport will be. It could be a pod during then, and then connecting you to the public infrastructure. And during this, it's all on the rails of data.
Sounds like Grab's going to control our lives.
Well, again, it's not about control. It's about really serving our customers much better in a most sustainable and a most efficient way. And we believe that as long as we are focused in the region and just triple down, we believe we are the ones who can do that.
The roads to success in our world are changing. Southeast Asia is home to 600 million people and is expected to be a main engine of global growth in the coming decades. It's no longer a small pond. Today, those who can make it here can go on to take their place amongst global giants.
I think a lot of people discounted Southeast Asian companies. And we kept saying, guys, we can build a Alibaba, a Tencent out of Southeast Asia. That time has come where there's enough monetary capital, there's enough human capital, there's enough grit and hunger in the region to offer localized services that are relevant to the people in this region. So I think with that perfect spring, if you may, that allowed all of us to rise, we really have shown the world that, wow, regional champions can emerge.